first song is Peace, right?
For you.
For you, okay. And then 20. Who's introducing us, Shirley?
They've been having people do it, but
I know.
I guess not.
We'll see. Zero. There we are. Are we on? Randy, can I just get you to stand aside? There we go. A little bit. Yeah, just in case we're right in the line. Introduction? Here she comes. Here comes Shirley. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. I'm Shirley Thompson, your host, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's gathering. And before we start the service, we invite you to enjoy some music by the very talented Beverly Elliott and Bill Costin.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hello to you at home. We're going to sing a couple of songs to get your morning started. This is a place where... Oh, sorry. I'm singing a different song than Bill is playing. There we go. It was a little test, okay? I know what's going on now. It's the time change. It's the time change. We're still waking up, hey? Last time we do it here in BC. Wow. Okay. An open heart, an open hand, or just a softer place to land. Maybe a kind word you've been told before, but you never heard. It's from a stranger, someone you have never met before. Someone could be opening a door. Do you always take the beaten track? The same way there and the same way back. I wonder what you'd find if you took some time with a stranger, someone you have never met before. Someone could be opening a door. Close our eyes so easily and we miss the chance to say, is there something I could do for you? Something I could do for you. And in the morning when you rise, do you say, I'm gonna try? When you lay your head to rest, can you say, I did my best for a stranger, someone you have never met before? Someone could be opening a door. Easily, and we miss the chance to say, is there something I could do for you? Something I could do for you. Something I could do to 'cause helping you might just help me too. Na 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 Thank you. Bill and I wrote that with Chris, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah,
you did.
Bill and I played it in our show, but I wrote that one with my my partner Chris. Yeah, Chris Noland. Okay, this is a song called Peace, and I love this song. I didn't write it. It's by a woman named Susie Keys from Australia, and it's just about the essence of what a place can bring, and I really feel that here at Unity, the space that we have and the energy that it brings. So enjoy. This is a place where I find peace. This is a place where I find peace. This is a place where I find all things are equal, and this is a place where I find peace. This is a place where I find strength. This is a place where I find strength. This is a place where I find courage immeasurable. This is a place where I find strength, where the salt meets the sand and the drifting tides land, where it's soft in the stretch of God's hand, where the time passes slow and the rosellas know that it's warm in the glow of the land. This is where I find peace. This is where I find peace. This is a place where I find you. This is a place where I find you. This is a place where I find hope meets fulfillment, and this is a place where I find you, where the salt meets the sand and the drifting tides land, where it's soft in the stretch of God's hand, where the time passes slow and the rosellas know that it's warm in the glow of the land, where this wide open space brings so much to this place, where the breath in me reaches right in. With my feet on this earth, it's my place, it's my birth. and it brings me back home once again. This is where I find peace. This is where I find peace. This is where I find peace.
This is where I have found
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning. Are we ready, Shirley?
We're ready. Thank you, Beverly and Bill. That is such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Good morning, Unity community. I'm your host, Shirley Thompson, and welcome to our gathering here at Unity Center in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We warmly welcome all people, all faiths, and all lifestyles. Today, we stand upon the unceded lands of the Musqueam Nation, noble guardians of these lands since time immemorial. It's here that we gather to learn, grow, and celebrate our oneness with Spirit. If you're joining us via Zoom or YouTube, welcome. And for those of you who remember to turn your clocks ahead, I commend you for being here on time. That's awesome. Our mission here at Unity is simple: to build personal and community well-being through universal spiritual teachings and practice. So let's get into it. Let's join together now in our opening invocation. So all together, there is one presence and one power, active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. And now please rise and join us in singing this morning's group song, How Could Anyone Ever Tell You?
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. What if I were to look for goodness in the eyes of all the people? What if I were to see reflected all the light that's there? What if I were to hold that vision and create a world of beauty? There'd be a source of joy for all to share. What if I were to give attention to my thoughts that run so freely? What if I were to listen closely to the voice inside? What if I should decide to open to the truth that I've been longing for? Then love would be my friend and constant guide. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Thank you, Beverly and Bill. Another beautiful song. So today's daily word is two, actually. It's divine feminine. I bless the divine feminine in myself and in all others. Today is International Women's Day, a time to celebrate women's achievements across societies and cultures. It is also a time to celebrate the divine feminine, which blesses all people. When I honor the divine feminine, I am recognizing God as love, compassion, and understanding, aspects that are present in everyone. The world is blessed by the contributions of those who embody the divine feminine in their words and actions, from the steeliness of protection to the softness of comfort and nurturance. I give thanks for the girls and women in my life as I lift up and celebrate the divine feminine in its many expressions. I affirm the divine feminine awakens and expands in my heart and blesses and prospers all life. And from Proverbs 31:31, give her a share in the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the city gates. So our guest speaker today is Reverend Hannelore, and she will be teaching us how to listening to the wisdom within. And now let's affirm let's warmly open ourselves to receive what we need most from the message with 5 powerful affirmations. All together now, guided by Spirit within, I walk in clarity, confidence, and peace. In stillness, I remember who I truly am. I trust the quiet wisdom within me. I see my life through the lens of wholeness. My heart now aligns my inner dialogue and supports my healing and growth. Thank you, and so it is. And now please rise and join us in singing our New English translation of the Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer.
Holy Spirit, creator and life and all, you create a space inside us and fill it with your presence. Our oneness now prevails. Your one desire flows through ours as energy fills all forms. You give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment. You untangle the knots of error that bind us as we also release others. We don't let appearances make us forgetful of the source. We're born free to act from our highest nature. From your presence comes the glorious harmony of life. Now these words are fertile ground from which our future grows.
If you'd like a copy of the Aramaic prayer we just sang, you'll find blue cards in the seat backs in front of you, and you're very welcome to take one. It is now my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Reverend Hannelore. She's affectionately known as the Dolphin Lady, but is first and foremost a gifted storyteller. As a published author, intuitive counselor, and transformational life coach, her passion lies in sharing true life stories. Woven with intuitive wisdom and spiritual insight, her modern-day parables offer a fresh perspective on healing, hope, and the miracles present in daily life. As creator and founder of the Academy for Applied Intuitive Studies, She offers space for deep personal growth through retreats, workshops, and mentorships. These allow for an awakening of intuition and alignment with purpose to live with greater joy and clarity. Please join me in giving a warm unity welcome to Reverend Hannelore.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, there you are.
I want to begin by thanking you, Beverly, for that lovely song. It burst my heart wide open because in my some of my seminars where we really do a lot of intensive healing and emotional healing work, when someone has broken through that, we form this huge hug circle around that person, and we all sing it to them, and it's just so empowering and so loving. And one of my students who was a teacher for really young students, she had her class sing that and do that in class. So we recorded that and had these beautiful voices of children in the background singing that. It was really special. Thank you. How can anyone ever tell you? Yeah, how can anyone ever tell you? Yeah, that's so beautiful. So thank you. It's always a pleasure to be back here again, to see all of you here. Those of you that are here with us online, Zoom, YouTube, thank you for joining us. I'm going to begin by taking all of us through a meditation. So at this point, I invite you to just take a nice deep breath and relax. Just allow your body to relax. And as with meditation, we will continue just to take several more slow, deep breaths in through your nose. And imagine that breath going right down to your toes. And release anything that might be stuck. Just take another deep breath. And with each breath, imagine that you are going deeper into relaxation and peace. So with your imagination, I want you to imagine you've been transported to a beautiful ocean and you're actually standing on a beach. Perhaps it's golden sand or white sandy beach. And as you look out at the water is very calm. The ocean's very peaceful this day. And as far as you can see, the ocean never seems to end. Just breathe in the ocean air. Wiggle your toes in the sand. So imagine you've taken off your shoes so you can wiggle your toes in the sand. It just feels so wonderful. And imagine now you're taking a few steps forward and you're actually putting your feet in the water. So as you're in the water, there's a sense of you that knows that you are one with this divine, vast water that is here. It's almost like you are a droplet of this ocean, and it's carrying this divine wisdom. So there's a gentle knowing inside of you that you are safe and you are one. Just in that stillness, allowing yourself to simply be. Any thoughts coming through, just let them drift off and just be in this moment. Nothing to worry about or do, just simply being in this very special moment. Allow yourself to feel the presence of awareness of peace. Unity teaches us that the divine lives within us, which means that the wisdom of life itself lives within you. So right now, in this moment, this wisdom is available. You may even wish to silently affirm the wisdom of Spirit lives within me. I trust the wisdom within me. I am guided by the divine presence within. And now take another deep breath in. As you feel the gratitude for this moment, for this day, feel that there's always guidance available. And anytime you need guidance or inspiration, remember that you can simply ask and tune in. So begin to bring your awareness back to the room. And to the people that are here and around you or at home that may be joining you in this process. And when you are ready, I invite you to gently open your eyes.
Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Can you take a broken promise and find the truth that still remains? Can you hold a candle to the sun and kindle a new flame? Can you open up a window with the opening of your eyes? Can you let the river run away? Can you let your soul cry? Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Can you speak the tender treasures that lie nestled in your heart? Can you take a precious moment and send it to the stars? Are you following the rhythm of the rocking of the waves? Are you standing in your darkness, being brave? Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice calls you home. Time has left you hiding far away, far away. The angels have come calling you to play. Come and play. Come and play. Come and play. Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home. Are you listening? Are you listening? Do you know you're not alone? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm the voice that calls you home.
Thank you, Beverly. And thank you, Bill. A beautiful song. It really ties in with the message that I'm going to share with you today. I'd actually like to begin with a few questions. And that is, have you ever had a time when you had an inner voice tell you to bring something with you as you headed out the door, and you just pushed it off, and then that you popped in again, maybe 2 or 3 times? Maybe it's to bring an umbrella with you, or maybe it's to bring whatever it might be. And then you realize, oh, if only I had done that, if only I'd listened. Anybody ever have that happen? I think we all have at some point. Have you ever felt like something was missing in your life? Your life might be great, it might be a challenge, but you feel there's something niggling at you, something missing. Have you ever had a thought of, oh, I need to call someone? A person's name pops in and you just feel you have to call them. You don't know why, and then you find out that there was a reason, whatever that might be. But that's an inner voice that you have. And that's the divine that is speaking through your voice of intuition. It's your intuitive voice. We often hear, oh, that's just, woo-woo stuff. But there's so many times we either listen, or how many times have we not listened and wished we had? So I am going to share a story with you of my own personal experience. I did share it briefly in another talk here. And it was a time in my life where everything seemed great. I was doing what I love to do. And yet there was something that kept feeling like it wasn't complete. Something was missing. At that time, I covered 13 different cities across Canada and the US, and it was a very busy time. I formed my own company within the film industry and represented many directors and cinematographers for TV commercials, visiting with advertising agencies, and it was very glamorous, it was very exciting, met many celebrities, and yet something just wasn't right. And often I would book into a little cottage. This was actually on Whidbey Island in Washington. And I remember this one particular day. It was a beautiful day, and I was just looking out the window at the little lake in front of me, seeing the heron on the dock or deer occasionally walking by. It was so precious. And my heart just filled with grief, and I just started sobbing. And I'm going, what is wrong with me? What is going on? Why am I feeling that there's something missing? And I just asked God, I said, please help me. What is missing? And I suddenly felt like a host of angels put their wings around me, embraced me, and I heard a whisper, go for a walk. So I went into a little town of Langley, and I had been there many times before, and at this particular day as I went for a walk, I noticed a little alleyway that I'd never noticed before. And so I thought, oh, let's just explore that. And as I went through this alleyway, there was a little shop that was offering gifts, books, crystals, and at the bottom of this sign, it was a little sandwich billboard sign outside the store, and at the bottom it said readings. And I never really had a reading before, and I thought, that might be interesting. Maybe a psychic gonna tell me what's missing. So I went into the store, nobody else was there at the time, and I spoke to the woman behind the counter, and I asked her if I could book a reading, and she said, well, the woman that owns the store, she does the readings, but she's out of town and I don't expect her back for a couple of days. Would you like to book a phone reading? And I remember thinking, no, that's kind of odd. No, I'll just look around. So I started looking at the books and at the things that she had in the store. And no more than a couple of minutes passed, a woman walked in, spoke to the woman at the counter, and she approached me and she said, I understand you're interested in a reading. Now I'm feeling kind of nervous because I didn't know whether I really wanted to do this or not, but she just looked right into my eyes. I looked into hers, and she said, I went, well, yes. And she said, when? And I went, now? And she said, okay. So she did this reading, and I was sitting on the chair, and it was so profound because she tapped into a dog that I loved that passed away, a great aunt, a message came through. She tapped into things that there's no way that she could have known. And there were times, do you ever get those body rushes, tingling? And I felt as though maybe the chair had some electrical charges on it. And it was really a profound reading. And at the end of the reading, I said, do you teach this? And she said, well, yes, I do. And it's one morning a week for 3 hours. And for me, that would have meant a 3-hour drive, a 3-hour class, and a 3-hour drive home. And I just knew I had to do it. So for the next several months, I drove to Whidbey Island, and I studied with her. Then I went into her advanced training, and she taught advanced intuitive training. There's one thing about, we all have that voice of intuition. We all have intuition. When you train with it, you can actually enhance it, and you can be more aware of it and in tune with it. I ended up becoming her protege because actually I was very skeptical when it came to, I can't do a reading, that's just for those psychics, and discovered that, in fact, that was an ability that not only I had, but as years progressed, I created my own training program, and I've taught many readers that are now professionally reading. So you all have the ability to do it, I guarantee you. And as the synchronicity of studying with her, I also assisted her. We flew to New York one weekend a month, taught in Long Island, and that's where I came across the new seminary, and where I studied comparative religions, dimensions of psychology, and then just a multitude of incredible connections and people that my whole life changed. It was a whole different world. My teacher and I became very close, and one day she asked me, do you know, I've always meant to ask you this question. Do you remember that day you came into the store? And I said, well, yeah, my whole life turned around that day. She said, how did you know I did readings? I looked at her, I said, well, it's on your sign. And she says, what sign? I said, you have a sandwich billboard sign outside your store, and at the bottom of the sign it said readings. And she looked at me and she said, I don't advertise readings, honey. So there are times we need to see something that may not be there. And it was a profound learning and experience. Many other things I won't get into, sharing how I gave up my business and how I then just focused on doing the training for intuition, and also how it led me to the dolphin retreats. Many, many things changed. And that missing piece filled me. Because for me, to be on my spiritual journey, my spiritual path, it's my breath, it's my life. To me, it's allowing God to speak through me and knowing that I'm never, never alone. And not only that, knowing that every one of you also have this in your life. When I looked at the word of intuition, it's actually derived from the Latin word inturi, which means to see within. Because intuition actually is your greatest asset. Any business, someone that creates huge corporations, every successful business can look back and realize a great part of their success was due to their intuitive knowing. I really believe that intuition is your soul's essence, that is divine, and it's always speaking through that voice. Albert Einstein was quoted as saying, "The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant." We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. We are all electromagnetic beings. That means all the thoughts that we have an electromagnetic energy attached to it. And this has been measured through steel walls. The Chopra Institute did a study that they determined that we have approximately 65,000 thoughts a day. Don't know how they figured that one out, but they determined that. And out of those thoughts, they determined that 95% of those thoughts are to do with the past or the future. Very rarely are we in the moment. And here's the interesting thing. They determined that 85% of those thoughts are deemed negative. Now, there's just over 8 billion people on the planet. Do your math. And because we're electromagnetic, we're picking up on these thoughts all the time. We don't have to be in the same room with someone. If someone is thinking of you, you could suddenly have a thought. Their thought comes into your mind. Their name might come into your mind, and then that's how you connect. Also, there's so many negative thoughts that are coming through that because we're open and we're receiving, it's like two-way radios, we pick up on this negativity, so we often, all the fear, they've determined that 98% of the fear that you have is not even your own fear. It's what you've picked up in whatever modality that you've picked that up. So we have so many things that we're capable of. Have you ever been in a room somewhere where someone came and sat down beside you and someone just went on and on and on about their problems, and you just feel heavier and heavier, and they're just telling you everything about it, and then they go, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but thanks, I feel so much better, and they walk away and you feel drained, Anybody experience that? So there's a whole process that we were taught on how to protect ourselves with a divine globe of light. And that is God's energy. If it's just an intention, an imagination, and you imagine that you are surrounded with light so that you can still receive all the good, but that it filters and blocks out the negativity coming through. And I thought, how's that really going to work? And I remember one time in New York, we would always start our day with bringing our higher self in, which is our spirit essence, which actually is the divine connection, bringing that into our body, grounding it in, and filling with light, and then shielding ourselves with this divine light. And I remember this one day walking down the street in New York with my teacher, and we were staying at a woman's house who was rather wealthy, and she was taking us to a very expensive jewelry shop. And as we were walking down the street, I sensed this woman coming toward us. I already felt my body kind of tighten up. And as she got closer, my teacher looked at me and she says, "Did you shield?" And I looked at her and I go, "Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't reinforce it, right?" But she walked past, and it was just like I felt this icky, heavy energy. And as we continued walking, we went into this jewelry store, and there was an escalator. And this is many, many years ago, before there were cameras everywhere. Okay, but in the jewelry store, there's a camera facing the escalator. And I remember going up the escalator, and you don't have to use your physical hands, but I always preferred to do it. I imagined moving the stuck energy out of my body, clearing it, and I'm looking at a camera, and I'm going, okay, I'm in New York, I'm just going to fit right in. But it's incredible. One of the classes we had where people really opened up to their gifts, and there's a lot of fear that came through at the same time. I went around the circle, it was about 30 people, and I helped just move their energy. And some of them were getting a headache, and they said, "Oh, okay, thanks, that was really great." I helped them clear it. But what I was doing, it was in my very early days, I took that energy, and if you can imagine, I just threw it at myself instead of throwing it into the ground to be cleansed, blessed, and transmuted. I took it on myself. And I cleared, and I did this with quite a few people. When I got home that night, I was freezing cold. I was so weak, I was so ill. I barely made it up the next morning to catch my flight back to Vancouver. I was beyond pale. I was almost gray. It's like my whole life essence had left me. They moved me into first class, gave me oxygen, and I overheard the stewardesses discussing that the pilot was trying to determine whether to do an emergency landing. That's how severe and drained I was. Now, I was grateful for that experience because it really taught me to have respect for energies. And years ago, I took woodworking in night school, and I also learned that you don't put your hand in front of the blade. Well, that's the amount of respect I have now in understanding how, when you're dealing with people that have very dark, very heavy energy. So it's important to learn how to not take it on yourself. And that's when you always want to connect with the divine to allow it to guide you. There's a story that I'd like to share with you. When I learned how to do an intuitive reading, we practiced a lot, and I did my very first professional reading where someone was going to pay me for the reading. And it was actually a friend of mine, and those are always the hardest to do a reading for. She sat in front of me. I did the process of preparing to do this reading. And I'm sitting in front of her, and I'm tuning into her energy, and I'm getting nothing, like blank. And I'm going, oh my God, who the heck am I to think I should be doing this? Like, I just wanted the floor to open up and to let myself crawl through and disappear. And you know that silence? Anyone that's ever done a talk and there's this silence, it's this deadly silence, and you want to find a word quickly. And I've got my eyes closed and I'm just grasping for any information. And I could hear her say, so, what are you getting, Hannelore? And I'm not getting anything. It's like you've got a wall around you. And she said, oh, that's because I put it there. I was so worried what you would see. And when she dropped that wall around her, I was blessed with an image. And in the image was that I saw her walking with Christ, having a conversation about the Essenes. I mean, how blessed to be able to witness that. When I shared that with her, she said, oh, I've always been fascinated about the Essenes. The Essenes were a group of men and women who studied the science of compassion. And they lived during the time of Christ. Actually, Christ was an Essene master. So it was a blessing to be able to do that and to learn many different things with doing my sessions, for example. I remember how much I learned. I learned so much. Anyone that does any type of intuitive counseling or any work like that, you'll discover that you're actually speaking to yourself. I do this when I'm teaching my classes. I'll share something and I'll get this, are you listening to what you're saying, Hannelore? And I'm going, all right. And then, or it will be, here, take my advice, because I'm currently not using it. So it's fascinating to be able to go through the process. In the guidance that we receive and those inner voices, I was reminded as I was putting my talk together of a time that I had just had my first dolphin experience. I was very excited about it. We didn't have a snorkel or mask, but I went back. It was a really rough lava rock beach called La Perouse in Maui, and I decided to camp there. And I met a fellow by the name of Lono, Hawaiian fellow. And actually, our birthdays were the exact same date and year. And he was fishing, and he did a lot of night fishing. So it was really fascinating connecting with him. And as I was speaking with him, here I am wearing my flip-flops, and I'm in my bathing suit, but my gear is down where I was camping. And I look out into the water, and a pod of dolphins came in. And I got so excited that I got up and I started to run. Now, there's many kinds of lava. There's smooth, rounded lava, there's swirled lava, and there's also what is called lava. And that's the very broken up, chunky, very, very hard glass-like lava. And I'm running along a path on this lava, and I get a very loud, you should not be running on this lava. But a few steps later, my foot stopped as it grabbed a chunk of lava, and I was flying through the air, knowing I was going to land on this lava. I put my hands out in front of me to protect my face, holding my face up, and I just fell, and the lava scraped down my body. And as I fell, my head was up, and then I went forward, and I hit the lava on my head, and I was knocked unconscious. Lono saw this, and he came up to me, and I remembered when I opened my eyes, there was no frame of reference. I didn't know who I was, what I was, where I was. I saw blue, but I didn't know what blue was. I saw white, but I didn't know what the white was. And I was very fascinated because there's this desire, like this need. I was grasping at who am I? What am I? If whatever. And when Lona helped me sit up, and I saw the beach, saw the ocean and the water, it all came back. As he guided me to his truck, and he helped me sit on the cooler as he was clearing out the back of his truck to take me to hospital, I passed out again. And as he was pulling me into the back of his truck, I remember coming to, and I could just see this incredible compassion and concern as he was looking at me. And I looked at him and I went, "You have beautiful eyes." And he said, "The things I gotta do to get a woman in the back of my truck." And he took me to the hospital, and I learned a very powerful lesson, how important it was to be present, be in the moment. And so for me, then offering retreats, how to share that with people, and water safety, safety walking on lava, and all that came into place. I was looking up, there's Gospel of Thomas. Gospel of Thomas is, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. So there's beauty, there's incredible opportunities always within you. I'm going to just ask for just each of you to consider if you recognize any of the following questions as they represent a form of intuitiveness, if you've had that within you. And that is, have you ever had a gut feeling about someone or something? Have you ever experienced that? Just having a gut feeling, just, that person's not quite right, or wonderful. And have you ever thought of someone and they called you moments later, as I had mentioned earlier? And have you ever felt that quiet inner voice? Have you ever felt it guiding you to do something or be somewhere? A dear friend of mine had the gift of seeing spirits, and she was very, very frightened about that. And when she did, we had a time together where she actually, I was just having a session with a healer, and she was waiting for me in the waiting room. When I came out, she was very agitated. And as we connected and we had lunch, she couldn't finish lunch. We decided to go and sit by the beach. And I asked her, just take a moment and ask, who do you feel has come to see you? And she said it was a young girl that she assumed was around 19 years old. And what happened was this young girl didn't realize that she had passed. She was in a severe accident, so it was a traumatic death. And what we did was we worked through that, and then I helped guide her to guide this young girl to meet with her loved ones from the other side, and they were there to meet her. And it was a beautiful experience to be able to see how we can do things like that for others as well. When we have times, I remember going with a friend, another little story, where we were about to go for a beautiful drive in the country. And as we started our drive, she got in the car and she just said, "Oh, I just heard my dad's voice." He had passed away many years before. My dad's voice saying, "It's going to be okay." I says, I wonder what that's about. And she said, he keeps saying, everything is going to be okay. So with that in mind, we were driving and we were on the highway. And as we were heading down the highway, ahead of us, a truck, its load had missed, it lost control, and it started weaving right across the lanes, which caused all the other vehicles to weave and swerve out of the way. And there was one car, one woman that came directly for us. And as she came past us, our mirrors almost hit each other, and I watched her face. She was glued to the steering wheel, just terrified, and came right by me. And everything was like it was in slow motion. And everyone somehow got put back and was on the right path. And I remember having to pull over. And we just looked at each other, and she said, yeah, everything. And she was calm. She's one of those people, she would have been screaming and terrified. But through the whole process, she felt this calmness and encouraged to know that everything will be okay. I remember when my young son, he was maybe 2, not even, he was walking, but he was still not steady on his feet. And I was having a visit with a dear friend of mine at her home. And her home was, the dining room was here, and then her kitchen's here with a wall, and the living room. So from the dining room, you could see into the kitchen and into the living room. And my son had, as we were visiting, having our cup of tea, he had gone into the kitchen and somehow reached up on the counter, and she had this very long, it was a knife that was shaped like this. He had, and this instinct, something told me to look over, and she had an area rug in her living room, and right where you would come out from the kitchen to the living room, it was raised because people would trip on it. And there I saw my son with this knife, in the tip of it in his mouth, walking toward the rug. And instantly I was there. I must have flown, and I was right by his side and gently took the knife from him. And of course, was pretty shaky after that, but just a remarkable, I was so grateful, that we have that instinct, that knowing. Looking at my time, there was a beautiful story I often shared with my classes, and it's called God Works in Mysterious Ways. So it was a Saturday night, and the pastor had been working late, and he could see it was already about 11 o'clock at night, but he called his wife to let her know that he was late but would be home soon. But the phone rang and rang and rang and rang, and he was wondering why she hadn't answered the phone. And then a little while later, he called again, and she answered right away. He says, "Oh, I called earlier, why didn't you answer?" And she said, "It didn't ring here." So he thought nothing of it and went on his way. The next day, he was at church, and the phone rang there. And when he answered, there was a voice, a man, asking him, "Why did you call me so late at night?" And he didn't understand what he was talking about, and then he remembered he had tried calling his wife, and he apologized. And he said, "No, don't apologize. What you need to know is that I was just about to commit suicide. And just before doing so, I asked God to let me know, should I do this, should I not?" And when the phone rang, I saw on the call display that it was from Almighty God Tabernacle. So I freaked out. Needless to say, I didn't commit suicide. Now, I shared this story with a friend of mine. I was staying with her in Lake Louise. And just as I finished sharing the story, her phone started ringing, and she had it on a recording, her answering machine. And we could hear, Mother Teresa calling, Mother Teresa calling. And we looked at each other, and she burst out laughing because her kids went to a school, and that was the name of her children's school. So lovely to have that sense of humor. Just before I close, I was having a lovely visit with my daughter, who shared with me something that happened when my grandchildren were quite small. They're now grown, but when my grandson, Tegan, he loves his food. He was always a real foodie. And she had made a wonderful special Italian pizza that was not with a red sauce, but it was all these different ingredients. And she said he was eating this and just enjoying it. And then he went, and he looked at her and he went, when I die and go to heaven and I'm in the cloud with Jesus, can you make me this for my last meal? And she just looked at him as this little kid. So I mean, it's just so precious. I love children's stories. So before we leave today, I just wanted you to just to remember that you have tremendous wisdom within. And the more you pause and listen and trust that voice and find a place to go, especially in nature. To me, nature is God made visible. When I have done many Vision Quest retreats, we would often be with I call the trees the standing people. And when you just take the time and you actually hug a tree and you hold on to the tree, it's amazing how every tree has a different energy. And it flows in different ways, and you do get messages. And a very dear friend of mine, she and I were doing that, and she shared a time that she had done that in the forest. And as she was doing that, and she's like about this tall, beautiful red long hair, very kinky red hair, really tiny, very petite. And she was wrapped around a tree, and a jogger went past, and the woman saw her from the corner of her eye and started to scream, which scared her, so she screamed back. And the jogger screamed, and then she screamed, and the jogger said, well, you scared me. And she said, well, you scared me. She says, well, I thought you were some sort of an elf. And she went, I am. So anyway, when you're in nature, really embrace the magic of nature. The beautiful thing is that this voice, again, is always inside you. It's always guiding you. And you are all expressions of radiant light. So thank you for allowing me to share some of these stories with you. And may you have a beautiful, blessed day on this beautiful sunny day. And may peace be with you.
Open your eyes and see me. Lay down your troubled years and shame. No reason left to fear me. Just hear me, call me by my name. Reveal your most colorful facade. Your spirit's dreaming and connecting to the stars on the journey home to God. winds of change are blowing, and hope is riding on the crest. You're not sure where you're going, but life will take you where it's best. Your jeweled crown waits at the temple's door. The heavenly angels are offering you more on the journey home to God. Your light is on, take the message. Green fields roll and the rivers rush to the sea. The danger's gone, take the message. Sunlight melts the last of the winter's breeze. Your light is on, accept the message. You have asked for it to come, and it's yours for the taking, and the taking has begun. The tears outside your window are tears that you have cried before. At times you've been a stranger, just standing waiting at the door. Embrace this pain that's keeping you at bay. The love you gain is yours to guide the way on the journey home to God. Your light is on, take the message. Green fields roll and the rivers rush to the sea. The danger's gone, take the message. Sunlight melts the last of the winter's breeze. Your light is on, accept the message. You have asked for it to come, and it's yours for the taking, and the taking has begun. Your light is on, take the message. Green fields roll and the rivers rush to the sea. The danger's gone, take the message. Sunlight melts the last of the winter's breeze. Your light is on, take the message. Green fields roll and the rivers rush to the sea. The danger's gone, take the message. Sunlight melts the last of the winter's breeze. Your light is on, accept the message. You have asked for it to come, and it's yours for the taking, and the taking has begun, and the taking has begun, and the taking has begun.
Oh, thank you. Bless you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
So give it up one more time for the amazingly talented Beverly Elliott and Bill Costin. And thank you, Hannelore, for such an inspiring talk. And I really love the reminder to trust my intuition, because I know, like you said, many of us don't always. I love the stories. Thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. So now we come to the time in our service where we bless our love offerings. So now let's say together our offering statement. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. If you're here in person, please drop off your donation with the ushers as you exit the sanctuary. And to donate online, simply click on the donate link in your chat window, and you can give via almost all major credit cards. So coming up here at Unity, as spring approaches, we are confirming our 2026 landscaping and beautification tier here at Unity of Vancouver. Volunteer gatherings will be scheduled in advance and typically take place in 2-hour blocks on Saturdays, weather permitting. And if you feel called to support the care and beauty of our grounds, please fill out a sign-up sheet at the bookstore. And if you participated last season, we kindly ask that you confirm your interest again so we know you'd like to be contacted. Thank you for helping to create a sacred space. If you have not received your tax receipt via email, check with the bookstore and they might have a copy of it for you. Our Course in Miracles group meets every Tuesday from 12:30 to 2:30 in the lower level. Learn alongside like-hearted individuals as you expand awareness. All are welcome. Your presence really does enrich the circle. Our Mastermind Prayer Group meets every Sunday before service at 10 o'clock downstairs in the meditation room. This group offers a powerful way to align with your goals through the practice of unity prayer. Reflective roundtables meet every Sunday downstairs at 12:20. Join us for a thoughtful, open, and structured conversation to explore the day's message, share insights, and listen deeply with a respectful, welcoming space. Today's affirmative prayer chaplains are Raymond Lancaster, Melba Burns, and Kui Ming Lin. If you could please stand. Thank you. And if you'd like to receive a confidential prayer, our chaplains will be waiting for you in the front row after the music. Join us downstairs after the music for coffee, cookies, and conversation, or a round table. And next Sunday, Yoga Charini Maitri joins us to talk about spiritual alignment and the nervous system. Watch our website for all the details and how to tune in online if you can't make it in person next week. And now, as we bring our gathering to a close, please stand and join us together in our prayer for protection, followed by the peace song. Together. A little music before, nice.
It's a little fanfare.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Now I can do it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. We send our love and look forward to seeing you next week. And if you're on Zoom and want to pray confidentially with a prayer chaplain in a private room, please accept your breakout invitation, which will pop up on your screen shortly. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next week, and God bless.